Let's see in a bit more detail how we can push configuration files to hosts with Ansible. First, we need to spin up two Ubuntu machines. One will be the Ansible machine itself, the other one will be our host where we want to install a web server on. First, you need to create a directory somewhere on your system. Then, you create an empty Vagrant file with an editor and put the following configuration in it. You see that it's all pretty default, except that we now provision two machines instead of one. That's possible with Vagrant. We can spin up as many machines we want in our Vagrant file, as long as we have the resources available like CPU and memory. We're going to spin up a machine with the hostname web server and another machine with the hostname Ansible. They will be able to communicate with each other using the IP address 192.168.0.2 for the web server and 192.168.0.254 for Ansible. Both of them will be running Ubuntu Trusty 64. We can now spin up the machines using Vagrant Up. We have two machines in one project folder. That means that we have to specify the name of the machines as well. Let's log into our Ansible machines and install Ansible using apt. Alternatively, you could also install Ansible using pip, a package management system for Python. In that case, you would apt-get install pip and then do pip install Ansible. In the latter scenario, you will get the latest version of Ansible, but it falls outside the support of the Ubuntu LTS or long-term support edition. So we are going to use sudo apt-get install Ansible to install Ansible. To ensure Ansible can execute commands using SSH on the host machines, you need to generate a new key pair and put that public key on the host machines. The first step is to generate a new key pair on the Ansible machine. The tool you should be using to do this is ssh-keygen. It can generate a new key pair for you. I'm not going to give it a passphrase. That means we're going to allow Ansible to log in using only the key pair and no passphrase. The private key is now stored in .ssh id_rsa on the Ansible machine. The public key is stored in id_rsa.pub. This file is the file we want to copy to .ssh authorized keys on the host, and this will enable us to authenticate from the Ansible machine to the host machines. To copy the file to the host, our web server, copy the contents of id_rsa.pub to the clipboard. It's just one line of text. You can open a new terminal and SSH into the web server using Vagrant SSH web server and put the full contents of that file into /root.ssh/authorized keys. This will allow Ansible to log in using its private key to the root account of the web server. Next, we are going to set up the inventory file. We can execute the following commands to do that. We SSH to our Ansible machine and add a group name and an IP address to the host file. Our inventory will now look like this. We added the IP address 192.168.0.2, which is our host, our web server, to the group web servers. In Ansible, we can define multiple IP addresses or hosts under one group. It's a logical mapping of hosts to groups. We could have, for instance, a second group, databases, and have IP addresses of database servers under them. Later on, we can apply configuration changes only to the web servers or only to the database servers because they are separated. Servers can also be logically grouped as geographic regions. One host can be in the web server group and also in the US server group, for instance. Another tool we are going to use is ssh-agent. SSH agent sends our ID RSA key automatically to our host, so we don't have to put it as an argument every time we want to execute an Ansible command. To enable SSH agent, you use SSH agent bash and then SSH add to add the private key. You will need to execute this every time you add a new session, or you can add these to .profile, which is the file that gets executed every time you log in. To test whether this worked, you can use Ansible ping to reach our hosts. You can see here on the slide that the ping command is being executed and the result is a pong back from the host.